taco. This is a great next step from the hobos bay. We'll start utilizing some of the same principles and add some new techniques here. So I've got a return eye shank. This one's an aqua. Originally the fish taco was tied on like spinner wire, but I like I like using a little more hefty of a shank for this. This one is unweighted as well, just like the hobos bay, and I don't have the right size shank. I thought I did, but I don't, so I'll have to end up cutting this one. This shank's a bit too long for this fly, but you can always cut these shanks down if you got ones that are too long. You can actually buy like the longest shanks and tie any size fly you want, just cut them down. On this fly, Jeff used 30-pound Maxima Chameleon, so we'll stick with that. When I'm tying people's flies, like their own patterns, signature patterns, I try not to deviate from their original steps and stuff that they used if I can help it, just because there's typically a reason that they do it and it's their fly, and I just want to kind of make sure that we kind of hold true to the actual pattern. So I'm going to loop on my hook first, and that will take a couple wraps. The mono's kind of, it's stiffer than the fire line, so you want to you need a couple wraps here to kind of hold it, and we'll just gauge our length, however long you want the fly to be. Alright, that'll be good there. Use this pawn to keep the hook out of my finger. I'm going to tie it up. And this is the one step. It can be monotonous, especially if you're tying a bunch of these, but getting a really good tie down, especially on mono. Mono is like very slippery, and so getting a good tie down on this is crucial. Bring it through the eye, pop it back real tight. Move the vise. Let me just make sure the camera's still in focus. Yeah, it looks like we're okay. Hopefully. Give this a clip. Alright. So this is on. I'm not going anywhere ever. And on this we'll do red and orange. I'm just going to take some red dubbing. This is the Salar SSS synthetic in red. I'm just going to do a little hot butt thing. Something like that. I'm going to tie in a wire rib on this one. This is just brassy copper. That's a good idea right here, just to give the wire a pull, make sure it's not going to slide out, make sure the hook point's still hidden from me. And my body is going to be Senyo's Fusion Dub. This is Eat a Peach. The dubbings, I just kind of go by what I like. I mean, the actual recipe on these calls for ice dub, but dubbing's dubbing, man. I mean, you just pick what you think looks cool. I do like synthetics on these. I like the flashes and stuff that you can get from synthetics on these types of flies. Typically, if I'm tying like purple perils and green butt skunks and stuff, I like to go Angora or something natural, but on these I do like the synthetics. We're going to dub up a body here. Maybe give us just a little bit more. We don't want to crowd that eye on this too much. We got a lot that's going to happen up there with the ostrich herl. So that's probably good. Okay, I've got our body pretty simple so far, no big deal. We're going to reverse wrap. Broke that one. We're going to reverse wrap a saddle hackle feather. This is going to be fire orange. I probably should have explained what I did there. I just stripped off some of these back fibers. Give me a tie down point. And give this a little pull, make sure it's not going to slip out before you clip it. I'm going to reverse wrap one full turn at the head and evenly wrap this back. Ooh, almost lost her. Ah, did lose it. Okay, 4 wraps, out on 5. Wiggle your wire back and forth up the shank. Tie for wire. If you don't want to use your scissors, you can roll it around like that. It'll pop out. Clip your back hackle. And this will happen a lot on these saddle hackles. It gets stiffer. You know, the bottom of the feather's kind of soft, and then it gets stiff, and so you can kind of have a sloping effect, and it pops out real fast. If you don't like that, you can just smash them down, or roll them, and they'll kind of see how they're playing a little nicer with each other. Looks a little nicer. All right, so collar of ostrich herl. When you're selecting ostrich herl for this fly, since we're using ostrich as an actual builder, there needs to be some substance to this feather. So a lot of the plumes that we use for intruders and stuff will not work. So meaning like this blue and black here, you see it, it almost looks like rhea. It's so thin. We're going to use this. You can see immediately the difference. It's totally transparent, and this thing's really full. So this is the one we're going to use for this fly. You know, there's some mediums. I'm going to try to find like a medium here. You know, something like this would be kind of like a medium. You know, this would be fine. You might need to add more, but this is still not ideal. Like the real full ones are going to be ideal. And there's a couple ways you can lay this ostrich in. We're going to take the long road here and do it kind of one by one as we go. You can put this in a dubbing loop and spin it. But that's, you know, for this series anyway. We'll get to that in a few videos. Maybe next, probably not next video, but pretty soon we'll get to that. I just want to work on just kind of core fundamentals right now. So I'm going to just take a clump of ostrich, get my length. We're going to be right about where the hook is. Just make one wrap, tie it down. Take another clump. We got about a 1/2 inch clumps. One wrap, and I'm matching these tips, and I'm spinning this around as I go. Okay. Make one good wrap, and then we're just gonna kind of see where we're at here. That looks pretty good. Now, if you have some dead spots, you can just take your thumb and finger and just kind of work it around. Your thumbnail can dig into there, and then just kind of spread them out. And this is why we take that extra wrap. I'm going to do one more in case. It's because if you wrap too much, you can actually start unwrapping your thread, and then all your ostrich falls out, and then you say some choice words and have to start over. Alright, that's pretty good. So I'm going to take a couple good securing wraps here. Start clipping this out. Probably looks like I crowded this eye. We'll see, we'll see. Oh yeah, crowded the eye. So basically what happened here is I was making my, this is actually a good lesson. We've got quite a bit of thread. We've got some gap in here. So there's a gap right in here, and the thread just crept towards the eye as thread can tend to do. So what I'm going to do now to fix this problem is I'm going to hold all this ostrich in one, grab it tight, unwrap everything. Now I can see my thread. I'm going to re-wrap all at once, couple securing wraps, and then recheck, make sure. So we got a little bare spot there now that we didn't have before. I'm going to fill that in, and we just gained all that room back. And now we can kind of go through and re-trim. Real close. And I'm blowing. The ostrich will want to stick to different things, and you can just blow it, and that'll get rid of the stuff that you've already clipped. Alright, now tie it all down. Okay, nice and clean. Got our ostrich there. Now one thing I will point out is I used a ton, so bad focus, but I used from about, from about here to here. We're talking like 4-5 inches of ostrich to make this one fly. If you learn the dubbing loop method later, you'll save yourself a little bit of feather. It just depends on the feather. If you get a good full one, you're going to lose less or use less. Like this is like one of the older OPST plumes. This is a good one. The OPST plumes had always fatter fibers. They just had horrible dye jobs. So no matter what color you get of their ostrich, expect it to be white after one run. Yeah, I don't really have some super full ones, but here's an old OPST one too. This one would be like perfect. This thing's just a blob. But again, they won't be pink for very long, and so I quit using them. At any rate, collar, natural guinea. And then you can add flash if you would like. You can add some flash around here. Actually, why don't we add some flash? So I'm just going to use some Flashaboo. So the easiest way to do this is to take the long fibers, split it in half, make a couple wraps in the middle, and then take your excess and bring it over like that. That'll give you on each side at a V. Now we can flip it over, do the same thing on the bottom. Okay, and that's how you can add flash through like kind of a full 360. I'm going to take it all up. Try not to clip any ostrich herl in here. Thanks, Duchess. Alright, trim it. Now we got our flash. Alright, back to guinea. Got a guinea feather here. I'm going to tie this in tip first. So I've stripped the bottom, clipped the tip. Run our scissors down the top. And our feather, and then just take some thread wraps and clean up the head. Finish, clip off, and then just give her a nice good fluffing. And there's your finished fish taco. Again, I think I said on the last video, I tend to finish my steelhead flies with the loon hardhead over the UV. So I'll finish this guy. And this stuff just gives a really good, tough sheen finish to these flies. And there you have it, fish taco. Another great unweighted version, more durable than the hobo spay. I'll tell you that straight up. The ostrich will last in cold weather much better. So your hobo spay that we tied before is a good fly for all around. If it's really cold, fish the tacos. They'll last quite a bit longer. Thanks for watching.